Hey there, Mikhail's DIY. I recently had a friend get into League of Legends, so I thought I'd do a video. I initially have tried to do some other ones where I explain some more grand concepts, but I realized I think I just make one that's simple for now, maybe layer them together, and maybe I'll make one full cut. This video, I wanted to be about something simple that is one of the harder concepts I find in League of Legends. That is just the item shop and how to know what to buy and for where and for why. The fun thing about items is they allow you to really make a character your own. Otherwise, they're all pretty bog standard the same. But if you wanted to play Shaco here, right, he plays oftentimes as an attack character. But you notice when I hover his ability, we see that there's letters in blue and there's letters in red. Red is attack damage, which means anytime that I'm doing things like just attacking, that's a red letter. When I hit E, that's in blue, meaning that it's ability damage. Just because you hit the button doesn't mean that it's going to be blue damage. For instance, if I were to level up one more time and unlock my Q, I pressed Q and attack this guy, and we didn't see the letter. 1 second. Just because I pressed Q, that letter was still red, even though I pressed Q. Just pressing the button doesn't make it an ability power or not. The best way to just figure out if it's ability power or attack damage is hover it and see what's red or blue. It's pretty quick for you to be able to peek at things and see. So if I hover all these, I see blue, blue, blue. You might think, well, Shaco is an ability power champion, and he can be played that way. This means he's probably got a good chance of being that way. Though, in this one, for instance, it shows blue and red. If you notice right there, it shows the little axe and the blue icon, meaning that it's kind of like a mix of both. So no matter which one you build, you should be okay. But if you're curious which one does more, you can hold shift and see it does 120% bonus based off of attack power and only 90% bonus based off ability power. So it'd be better if I built attack damage. While this one only gets better off ability power. This one only gets better off ability power. So we can kind of see what my character wants. It looks like I have one ability that is attack damage, one that is attack damage with a hybrid for ability power, and then two that are ability power. So that means I have 3 ability power, 1 attack damage. So I probably want to build items that give me ability power, at least in this instance, right? That'd be the thought. So when I click in the shop, you'll see that it agrees with me. It thinks I should take ability power. If I hover Laundry's Torment, I'll see what it is. It's an anti-tank item. Okay, good to know. It gives me 60 ability power. So that'll affect this one, and this one. It'll also give me 300 health. Everybody needs more health. Every item then has like a tag of what it'll do. This one says it will damage and burn enemies for 2% of their health. It'll do it for 3 seconds for 2% of their max health per second. Then it adds another one. For each second in combat damage, deal 2% bonus damage up to 6%. So for Laundry's Torment, it looks like since I get extra health and extra ability power, I'll start dealing more damage, and I will start to deal more damage the longer I'm in a fight, which good thing it gives me health so I can stick in that fight longer. When you click on the item, you'll notice that it shows a breakdown of every item in it. There are these smaller ones, like if I click Haunting Guys, you'll see it goes into 3 different things. Maybe you might eventually in the future start building one, for instance, give myself some gold, and then halfway through building it, you realize, oh no, I should swap over to this other one because now I need Omnivamp, which is life steal, or when you hurt them and gain life for doing it. Or maybe I need magic penetration. I'm not trying to work past a giant health bar. They just have a lot of armor. So I want Bloodletter's Curse. You can change this depending on what's going on, but the ones that are shown here are almost always the most meta items, the ones that are most picked by people who play your champion. Does not mean that they're the best at any given moment. Just means they're probably better than what you'd randomly throw in there if you just picked an item from the shop. You can always see what other players are building by holding tab. They will show up here and their items will be in public knowledge the moment they are spotted. If they buy an item and no one's seen them, they're back in their base, they bought it, it will not tell you they've bought it until they reappear on the map. Same for minion kills. So if you're playing a jungler, your items are all hidden until you appear on the map for the first time. Whether or not you're seen by a player or not, if a minion on the enemy team sees you, that considers a time to be updated. In general, follow these items guides in the front if you're not sure what to build, because many of them are going to be better than what you guess randomly. But one way to know generally what your opponent's going to be doing, if you're like looking at their items trying to figure out what's going on with them, is you look at what boots they bought. I find boots are often the quickest way to determine what they're probably interested in, because boots in general just give you a buff to the stat that you're most interested in. For instance, Berserker Greaves are taken by almost everybody who likes to attack as fast as possible because they give you attack speed. And everyone needs to move faster at some point, and the ones you get tell a lot about you. Do you want to gain health based on how much damage you're doing? they'll probably get the Gluttonous Greaves, and you'll know they're into lifesteal. Did they get Merc Treads? They're probably afraid of being slowed, or they're playing tanky. They don't want to build attack damage. Sorcerer Shoes, they're a mage. They're going to be casting a lot of abilities. They want magic penetration. Plated Steel Caps, they're looking to be tanky. They want to take less damage from you when you attack them. And then Ionian Boots means they want to cast their abilities as often as possible. In order, you're typically looking at Berserker Greaves, Ionian Boots, and Sorcerer's Shoes, as well as Gluttonous Greaves being more like attack focused. While you're looking at Boots of Swiftness being more of a utility focus, Mercury Treads and Plated Steel Caps being more of a defense focus. So the boots they carry usually tell you what they're going to be doing. If they build Berserker Greaves, they're probably going to build a lot more attack damage items because they want to be attacking as fast for as much as possible. If they build the Boots of Swiftness, you can bet they're going to try to run across the map and attack your teammate, even though they were just in your lane a few seconds ago. And if they get Merc Treads, you bet they're going to be building tanky items so they can withstand all of your abilities. There are some items in the game that have very unique traits that can really change how you play. And there are others that have kind of like shared traits that other ones have as well. For instance, Edge of Night grants this thing called a null. You see it says 40 seconds. That means it's on a cooldown, which means that if you should use this ability, then it will go away for 40 seconds. And when I buy this item, you'll see that I have the shield on me now. If an enemy hit with an ability, it would be totally canceled. No matter how much damage it would do, the first time they hit me, I'll just eat it and it will go away and it's free. So it makes them pay a price to attack you. But you'll notice the item that I just bought is called Edge of Night, and it gives attack damage, lethality, and health. Well, lethality is the ability to bypass armor, and attack damage is, of course, just basic attack damage. Health is health. What if I wanted this while I'm playing a character who's, for instance, maybe not an attack damage focused person? So maybe I'm playing a mage and I want attack damage for a mage instead, ability power. I can get this one. It has that same annul spell. So oftentimes, if a ability is really, really useful, they'll throw it on multiple items. So there'll almost always be a variant for the AP user and the AD user. Sometimes there's one for the supports or for the tanks. They can kind of change, but you can get the same effect in multiple flavors. So oftentimes, if you're not sure what to do, if you're looking for an effect, there's likely a way to get it in your wheelhouse. One of the most important ones is often going to be to counteract lifesteal. Bloodthirster, for instance, is one of the most popular items in the game. Gives you 15% lifesteal. So out of 80 damage, if you get 15% of it back, that's a good amount of health every time you attack. You also get extra heal to turn it into shields, which is pretty good. So what if someone just keeps fighting you, but they lifesteal and they end up just healing all their health back while you're losing all of yours and you die every time? You're looking for items that offer grievous wounds, which if you look at grievous wounds, it doesn't show up, which can be kind of disappointing and annoying. But if I type in Executioner's Calling, I'll find this and I'll see, grievous wounds is what's on this. When I complete the item, they get wounded the same amount. So you notice that just because I finish and get the final version, this one makes them for 40% for 3 seconds. This one's 40% for 3 seconds. It doesn't get any better. But since I had to build this item, I want to at least get a finished version so I can get more stats out of that item because it takes up one of my 6 spots. I want to get the most out of it, so I need to finish that item. Maybe now, maybe later. Sometimes you'll think, well, I should just finish it because I started it. That's not always true. You get the same benefit. So unless you need 30% armor penetration and critical strike, maybe you go on to the other item that you wanted. But there's a version of this lifesteal stopper in every manner, both defense, attack damage, and AP. It's called the Oblivion Orb for AP, Executioner's Calling for AD, and Bramble Vest for tanks. So notice they all have that green in them. The game does try to give you some color context clues. So yeah, if you want to cause grievous wounds, if you're playing a character who has a high level of, lifesteal, getting one of these items early can really put a rock in their shoe. Like, it's not going to stop them, but it means that they'll know you're aware of what they're up to, and it'll stop them from being as runaway as they could be. Oftentimes, that's a thing that gets forgotten by the team, and someone gets it eventually, and it changes the course of the game. So if no one on your team has that, and they have full lifesteal, y'all are screwed. You need someone to build that item. So though it's not really mentioned, it's a very important part of the game to try to buy items that counteract your enemies. Lifesteal is the most obvious version of that, but if you want to get into different items doing certain things, you can always come to the All Items tab and then search by the stat you want. On hit effects, maybe you want critical strike, attack speed, you want mana penetration or magic penetration. You can decide what you want here, but how you read the item is always going to be the same. You hover it and it'll show you the basic name of it and what it generally does, sustained damage. Then you'll see its stats, 80 ability power, 600 mana, 200 ability haste. So I have 300 mana right now. I buy this. I now have 900. I can be out a lot longer before I have to come back. Boots are going to be everybody's purchase. And then you have options of these consumables up in the top left. So if you look at the consumables, we have health potions. These are usually good for the very beginning of the game. You buy them just as a way to stay in lane. So if you're going against somebody who knows a bully, you might take this. But in most lanes, you'll end up starting with a Doran's item. It's often recommended because a Doran's item gives you a lot more value than you're paying in gold, but the trade-off is a Doran's item upgrades into nothing. So if you're not sure what to take at the beginning of a game, you can always type in Doran, and you'll get options of the blade, which is a lifesteal, health, attack damage. Oh, so good if I'm playing somebody who wants to. Lifesteal, shield, extra health, and regain health after I get hit. Oh, that's nice if I want to stay in lane longer. I also deal bonus damage to minions. I just want armor. I can go Doran's helm or Doran's ring or Doran's bow. But once I buy this, the only thing I'm going to get out of it is later I'll eventually sell it for 180 gold. So I'll put more into it than I'll get out of it. But in the early game, it's such good stat boost that you're kind of forced to buy it unless you're feeling brave. In that case, you could skip that and go straight to a component for your item, which means you'll be less strong in lane. But should you get a kill or get a lead, you'll be able to take more advantage of it because you're not having to dump the Doran's item for the item that you wanted to build. The game does try to help you if you want to try to be more advanced than using the recommended items. When you go to all items, you can select the type of items you want to look at. So if you're playing somebody who's more fighter, you can do this and go to fighter and buy these items. And your stats will start to align more with abilities the background activating that will make you more of a fighter. If you want to be more tanky, you can go look at the tank items. Not all of them overlap, but some of them will between the two classes. So you can always be checking between what you want to do. Notice that, for instance, Deadman's Plate is both a fighter and a tank tool. It appears on both lists because being able to move faster and be less slowed is good for both tanks and for fighters. So there's more crossover between tank and fighter than there ever would be for fighter and mage. Some items do have unique things, such as Mercurial Scepter and Guardian's Angel. These have unique abilities that you want to know before you buy them because they're going to be very important for how you play the game. They let you change the style pretty drastically. Guardian Angel says that every 300 seconds, if you die, you come back to life instantly at 50% of your health with all of your mana after 4 seconds. So should I go die? And I died to turret? Oh no, it didn't say I got killed. I just immediately respawn, and now look, I get to run away. So had I killed them under turret, hooray for me, I would have gotten it. It would normally go in cooldown, but I have all cooldowns disabled as of now. Mercurial Scimitar lets you activate it to remove a crowd control thing. So if someone were to stun me, I could press 3. I would suddenly be cleansed of that crowd control and good to keep rolling. Items with activated abilities, I don't recommend for newer players only because I find it so much simpler to take items that don't activate that give you constant stat boosts to take advantage of versus ones that you have to remember to add into your already confusing rotation if you don't know what you're doing. And really, I think at that point, there's not much else to say about the items. You just need to start learning how to read them and occasionally be reading them. Whenever you die to something that you just don't understand, like you thought you would have won a fight, oftentimes you can check a person's item and see something that's like, well, there's the answer. That's why I died. For instance, Magi Soul Stealer is one that you spotted on somebody. You know they're playing aggressive. It tells you a little bit about their personality because playing Magi Soul Stealer is, as it says right there, a risky gambit. Kills grant you glory, glory grants you strength, and if you die, you lose your glory. So it takes you for, I think, you get 4 glory per kill, but you lose 10. So you need to get 3 kills before you can die and not lose too much. So somebody who has Magi Soul Stealer will actually be more important to take out during a fight if it's safe than somebody who does not, because taking them down will actually knock down their damage quite a bit. Meanwhile, if somebody has things like Death's Dance, Deadman's Plate, and Experimental Hexplate, these items tell me that, oh my god, not only they will take very little damage, they will to run me down, and should they ultimate, there's almost no way I'm getting away from them. They're also going to cleave all my armor off. So this person wants me to be in a long fight with them because it's not going to work out well for me. They're oftentimes a blueprint for what the person wants to do. So especially if they're playing a character and building weird items, you know what's going on. Shaco is typically an assassin, but if you look at me and see that I've built things like Zeke's Convergence, Bandle Pipes, Frozen Heart, all tank items, you know that for some reason, I'm not playing Shaco the normal way. So you might try to fight me, and you've played Shaco hundreds of times, and you can always kill him in 3 hits. You've just started to realize that. And then you go to fight him, and suddenly that's not happening. It's because you're not looking at the items they're carrying. They can act very different than how you're used to seeing them by being built a different way. It's how you bring some more skill expression to the game, and items are overall a cool part of League of Legends that I think you can have a lot of fun with and is part of what makes it so fascinating. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. But otherwise, thank you all for watching. Peace.